This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hey everybody, this is Chase from Barrel Age Flicks. Go ahead and check out our Patreon for raw, uncut footage and early access to all of our episodes. The link is in the description, and it's only $5 a month. Thanks for listening.
All this machine does is swim and eat and make little sharks. And that's all. I'm not going to waste my time arguing with a man who's lining up to be a hot lunch.
Here lies the body of Mary Lee. Died at the age of 103. For 15 years, she kept her virginity. Not a bad record for this vicinity.
We know all about you, Chief. You don't go in the water at all, do you?
Some bad hat, Harry.
Proves that you wealthy college boys don't have the education enough to admit when you're wrong.
Come on down and chump some of this shit.
And I am not going to stand here and see that thing cut open and see that little Kentner boy spill out all over the dock.
You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous. But you let people go swimming anyway.
Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you. Right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes. Black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
You go in the water, shark's in the water. Our shark.
Keep it steady now. I got something very big. Aye, aye, sir. Arr, Jim boy, arr.
Shark! Shark!
You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
Well, you son of a bitch.
Hey everybody, this is Barrel Age Flicks. I'm Lenny, yeah man, and this is...
Hey, this is Ron. Let's drink and talk some movies.
We also have...
What's going on, you fucking nerds? This is Tyler. Let's talk about some modern mythology.
And finally...
This is Stu. Let's drink, motherfucker.
All right, you guys. I'm extremely stoked for this. This is the beginning of our Out to Sea series here at Barrel Age Flicks. And of course, we have to start with one of the greatest movies of all time when it comes to the ocean and being afraid to step into it, and that's Jaws. Today's a special episode because we also have a special guest that's going to be with us today, and that's going to be Sammy. Hello, Sammy.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, Sammy.
What's up, girl?
Hey, hey, hey.
Oh my lord.
So Sammy's going to be with us. She's got some great input about this film, and it's going to be fantastic. So we're going to go ahead and kick this off. This was Tyler's awesome pick.
Fuck yeah, it was.
And he's
Hell
going
yeah.
to go ahead and,
Love it.
of course, introduce our drink, and I'm going to hand it off to you, Tyler. Go for it, brother.
What's going on, guys, dude? I'm
What's
so
up?
fucking
Yo,
jacked about
dude.
this. How are you guys?
I've been
hell
looking
yeah.
forward to this for a long time.
I've actually been looking forward to this for weeks because we've talked about doing this. This has
Yes.
been a waiting.
Dude,
Yes.
I can tell, man. I can just tell by the fucking energy right now. Like I said, everybody's super excited about this. We're going to talk about one of the greatest fucking movies ever, the Godfather
Hell yes.
of the fucking blockbuster. Let's get into this shit.
Fuck
All
yeah.
right. So today we're going to drink a classic shark bite cocktail made with Cape Cod Great White Rum
it smells good.
and Flag Hill Spice Rum. Both distilleries are based out of New England, which I think is absolutely appropriate, being that the film was actually filmed in Martha's Vineyard out of Massachusetts. It also has blue Curaçao, lime juice, and simple syrup. Finally, a few drops of grenadine give it the blood in the water look. It's a fun drink for adults that basically, or I should say, for kids that think they're adults and they really like this drink. But it's very, very appropriate for the movie. So without further ado,
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
cheers,
guys.
Cheers.
Oh, that's good. Oh,
Wow, dude.
Refreshing.
That's dangerous.
oh man.
That's
man.
fucking dangerous.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
That goes down way too fucking easy.
I'm already halfway done.
So Ron, whenever you're done over there, buddy.
Oh, dude. Okay.
It was
Yeah, shut up. Anyways, what I love about it, it's tangy. It's got like a sourness to it, and that's what I love about it. And you know how I like things sour better than sweet. It's got a slight sweetness to it, but it's got more sour to it. It's very fruity, but it goes down quick. It doesn't even taste like alcohol to me. It feels like you're just drinking like just a hardcore juice. It's really good. I give this 2 fucking thumbs up. I enjoy the hell out of it. I'm gonna fucking finish this shit right now.
What are you saying about kids who thought they were adults?
Exactly. That's my point. No, that's why I like it. So I'm gonna go and give it 2 thumbs up as well, because this drink does not taste like an alcoholic drink at all. Like, it's very, very, very juicy, very fruity, very, very sweet. It's not typically something that I like, but there's something about it where it's very, very balanced, and like it tastes really, really good. So I'm absolutely digging it.
And it's also a beautiful looking drink too. The color with the red at the bottom with the grenadine and the blue. Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes. How about you, Lenny?
I definitely like it. I give it 2 thumbs up. It's it's very much, it screams summer. If you're looking for like a summer cocktail, it kind of basically the same stuff that Ron was saying. It's got like a tangy, crisp kind of taste to it. You can't even really taste the alcohol a whole lot, which makes it, like Stu said, which makes it so dangerous. Yeah, it's great. I could see myself like drinking something like this, like on a boat or like on a beach somewhere. It's fucking perfect.
Yeah, just laying back in the sun and just having this in your hand, just like enjoying life.
Yeah.
How about you, Sammy?
Well, I agree. It is a lethal cocktail. I mean, I can't taste any alcohol in mine, so it's super dangerous.
Yeah.
But it is super delicious. It's fruity. I give it 2 thumbs up. I could drink this all day. And so, yes, abide with caution.
I absolutely agree with that.
How about you, Stu?
All right, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. It's a little bit tart at the very tail end of it.
That's what I love about it.
I can do the tanginess.
Yes.
Just to mirror everything. You don't taste any fucking alcohol in this. You don't. It's going to fuck your world up. You just give an amazing jar of this sitting out there on the boat, and you will not know what hits you when it creeps up. It'll be like somebody just snuck up behind you and just had their ass out, and you won't even know what that's going on. It'll be amazing.
Wait, what? What just? Oh, all right, then. It just took a dark turn.
All right, so y'all ready to get in the movie?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So can you guys fucking believe this movie's 46 years old?
Holy shit.
That is a fucking shock.
46 years old.
See, the thing is, it still holds up.
Oh, my God.
It's amazing. It's timeless. It's timeless. It's a timeless film, period.
Yep, and its legacy lives on. Like it's absolutely an undisputed classic. Not a single one among us was alive when this movie came out. Am I correct?
No.
1975.
Nope.
Nope.
Yep. So, but yet here we are. We're all talking about it. Most of us are wearing Jaws shirts today. Sammy's wearing a smash up of Star Wars and Jaws. Welcome to the shark side. Oh, she's laughing. Usually I have to beats.
Kid knows that kind of podcast.
I usually have to have beats for this. This is fucking great. Got a free show. All right, cool.
I'm wearing shark socks.
All right, so and also
You're lame.
So I'm glad that he.
I'm wearing Smokey the Bear.
Yeah. So Lenny's wearing pantyhose that has sharks on them.
They're not pantyhose.
For the record, Lenny, I have those same stockings.
First of all,
my God.
That makes it sound even worse.
I got these socks that buckle in the men's section where all the men's stuff is. I hate you guys.
Men's stuff like garter belts and
whatever suits
Shark
your fancy when you want to dress nice. Hey, whatever.
By the way, I hope you had a good Pride Month. By the way, because we just finished that. So
no, my socks they're neutral.
So like we said, the legacy of this movie lives on. The poster is immediately recognizable, and it's been redone several times. In the years after it was released, it was heavily used in political cartoons.
Cartoons? Jaws?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, you name an issue or a president, and there was a rendition of the Jaws poster with one side preying on the other. So for example, you could have Reagan was the shark or whatever, and the swimmer at the top was East Berlin.
Oh, shit.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. There were memes back before there were memes.
Exactly.
Nice.
You. Yeah. All right. And a lot of children's shows either directly or indirectly reference the movie.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
We had talked about earlier about there's a show Just Add Magic where the girls go back in time to 1975 and the girls directly talk about going to the movies or whatever to go see Jaws. And and Sammy, you had mentioned another one too. What were we talking about?
So I was talking to my sister, and actually she found like a gem. So one of the things, because I know you guys had done a show or are planning to do a show, I don't remember which, I heard, but about doing Deep Blue Sea. And the license plate in Deep Blue Sea is literally the same license plate in Jaws, that the tiger shark, like he pulls it out of its mouth. It's the same one that comes out of the gutted tiger shark in Jaws.
Wow.
It's the 007, and I can't remember the last few digits of it.
Like
But
981 Louisiana
Exactly.
Sports in Paradise.
But what's
Damn,
so
did you guys know about
bananas-
that?
No.
Wow, that's fucking amazing.
We'll definitely include that in
This
the
is
show.
the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
This is the rabbit hole because not only speaking of kids shows, it is in Ralph Wrecks the Internet when they're doing the singing number and the shark pops out of the sewer.
Yep.
He has a license. One of the animals inside of him is holding the same license plate.
What?
It's seen
No
in
shit, I didn't know
Shark
about
Tale.
that.
It's seen in Shark Tale when he coughs it up, same license plate, as well as it has actually been seen in other non-Jaws, but Jaws knockoff films like Red Water. There's a car that has the same license plate in that movie as well. So, I mean, it is
That's
literally
fucking
like
awesome.
homage, like over the roof in a lot of different things.
That is awesome.
What I really like about that is that that's kind of like a grandfather, like having like that trait, like
Yeah.
his son, and then his son's son like has that trait, and so on and so forth. Like
Oh, yeah.
I really I dig that. That's pretty fucking cool.
Kind of reminds me of the THX one.
I was thinking the exact
11
same fucking thing.
1138.
A1113 or whatever.
It was
That's
1138.
over Pixar.
No,
Was it
THX 1138.
1138. Yeah, I believe that where it was
Yeah.
used, where basically anything from George Lucas
Yep,
or
we'll throw
anything
it in.
related to George Lucas, it was in there. I think it was even there's a whole bunch of things.
That was Lucas's first film.
You know, it's paying homage and showing respect, and you gotta love that. Even if it's real subtle, it's cool, man.
Yeah, but you know, like what's really different about that is that you talked about George Lucas's films, like every single thing that he had, like he had done, whatever had THX 1138 like in it at some point in time.
Yeah.
It's like another thing we talked about during Evil Dead is like his Sam Raimi's movies. Like he's always had like that. What was it?
The Delta 88.
The Delta 88 like was in every single one of his movies, even The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
These are other films with like made by other studios, like with other creators, whatever. Like like paying homage to Jaws. That's how crucial, like, and how
Yes.
how integral to this entire genre of shark films is that everybody pays homage to Jaws because without Jaws we wouldn't be having this conversation that we're having.
And I'm
today.
sure these
And it's not
directors-
even just shark films. It's summer tentpole films.
Yeah, well, the thing is,
Major, huge blockbusters.
Well, Jaws was the first
Exactly.
summer
It is the
blockbuster.
granddaddy of all of those films.
And I assume all these directors that make these films about sharks and everything will go ahead and say flat out, yeah, I have a good movie here, but nothing will top Jaws. That is the #1 shark movie of all time.
And I'll it's more than just the #1 shark movie. I'll say it's one of the top 5 or top 10 films, period.
Ever.
Yes, yeah, no, I agree with
Period.
you on that. Yeah.
It is a #1 shark by leaps and bounds. Number 5 in the top 10 of all American cinema.
There's so many quotable lines and so many fucking good scenes and good actors and I can't even list them all. They're so good.
You hit that on because so when I am going through the titles and trying to pull all these lines, there were so many fucking lines in this movie. I was like, oh man, I want to grab that one. I want to grab that one. I want to grab that one.
You want to grab this one?
You walked right into that, Ron. Sorry, but you did.
right there.
I walked into that. All right, just go back to the next person. Next subject. Fuck you.
Yeah, so
All right,
grabbing stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah, there I go. Hey, grab this shit. All right. So anyway, so we see life imitating art right in front of our eyes, because even as recently as when the pandemic hit, and we had the lockdowns, fucking immediately, I started hearing comparisons to like how the mayor wanted to close down the beaches to the lockdowns with COVID. Like it was.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was right away, and I was just like, well, yeah. I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
One of my favorite bands, Ice Nine Kills, has a song called "Rocking the Boat," and this is a song that came out within the last 5 years, and the song is an homage to Jaws, and they play a rendition of the theme, and the lyrics have lines from the movies inserted into them, such as "Smile, you son of a bitch."
Yeah.
It's the screamo fucking part of the song, whatever. It's fucking amazing, and not only one of the best films ever. It's left a legacy of movies that have tried desperately to match the original, such as Deep Blue Sea, 47 Meters Down, Piranha, Lake Placid, and the thing is that most of them fail horribly. They fall short of this film because it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
And only a few of them have been actually fairly decent and have done fairly well. Me personally, I thought that The Shallows.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah, was actually pretty.
Shallows was actually very entertaining. I was very happy with that one. I thought the special effects, the acting, the shark looked real too. That's just what I loved about it. It was great.
Yeah, and Open Water, that was another one that was really. That was actually a good one.
Yeah, because that actually uses real footage of sharks.
Yes.
So that one was really good too.
Yeah. There were other, and I had mentioned kind of the films that had fallen short of being basically just cheap imitations, such as a movie that came out a year or two afterwards called Great White.
Yeah.
It was so incredibly similar that Universal actually sued them and won because the film was so fucking similar.
Yeah.
It was a beach town that was being ravaged by a shark, and it all happened on a Memorial Day or a 4th of July weekend. The similarities were too fucking close.
Wasn't there also lines from the movie that were also
yeah,
pulled?
I was
absolutely,
gonna say,
yes.
yeah, legitimately, he pulled the Matt Hooper line, talking about they swim, they eat, and make little sharks. They literally took the exact same line in the film. It was garbage.
And not only that, there was apparently the Italian film market, they make an entire they have an entire industry of copying American films, and they actually did 3 different movies that were all cheap knockoffs of Jaws, stealing key moments from the movie, lines, everything from those from Jaws, and putting them into their own films.
Yeah, there was a lot of them out there, and I think it wasn't also just shark movies. It was other, any type of man-eater type of films, like Grizzly, the Grizzly Bear. Of course, Lake Placid. I mean, there was a whole shitload of them that kind of came from basically they tried to go what Jaws had, but they can never come up with what Jaws had. Jaws was just perfect in my opinion. It was just fucking perfect.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, I think it is.
We still have the shark. We still
Brucey!
We still have old plastic fucking Brucey himself.
But it's a good-looking fucking shark. The way they did it.
I'm just gonna throw this out there real quick as a fun little story. So, I want to say I was probably 10 years old, 11 years old, and my dad took me to Disneyland and Universal Studios in Los Angeles. Okay, so it's the wannabe of Disney World and Universal out in Florida. Doesn't even fucking compare, by the way. But I went to Universal, and one of the things that you do when you go to Universal, at least back then, was that you do this tour where you sit on the little, I don't know what the fuck they call it. It looks like a trolley kind of a thing. Yeah. And it takes you through movie sets of different movies and shows you all them. And one of the movie sets is from Jaws. And so I knew damn well, because I'd seen the commercials on TV, I knew that at some point we're going to go near something with water and the fucking Jaws animatronic's going to pop out. And I was so fucking excited. I got on that fucking ride specifically and only for that. That was the one thing I wanted to see more than anything, even though I was terrified at the same time. Because I was a little kid, I didn't, but I wanted to fucking see it so bad. And dude, we get to the fucking water, and there was 3 other sets that had water that Jaws didn't pop out. And I'm like, what the fuck, So then finally we get to the thing, and the Jaws comes out, and I was so fucking disappointed, dude. It came out, and it was all it was all slow and fucking rusted over, and obviously parts of it were missing. You could tell this thing had been through the ringer. It didn't fucking even look like a shark anymore. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It didn't even come out of the water like it does in the commercial. It's oh God. It was meh. It was just kind of, it was freaking pathetic. I was so
it was like Bruce from the Jaws.
I was so crushed, man.
Yeah, it never fucking worked.
Yeah, I was like, damn it, dude. Come on. Can't you put some oil on this thing? Maybe slap some paint on it. Make it look real. Fuck.
I think that those have been removed from both Universal parks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Harry Potter Land took over it or something like that.
Yeah. And
they put the Harry Potter now.
Yeah, and that's kind of disappointing because you kind of imagine these rides are going to be a staple and they're going to stay there forever because these movies are forever. They're such a part of our pop culture. You think they're just going to be there forever, and they're not. For example, the Jaws ride is gone.
Yep.
And thankfully, I had the opportunity to go down to. I was living in Florida at the time. I had the opportunity to go to Universal and ride it, and I have great memories of that. And in another film or another ride rather is the great movie ride. You walk through through the man's Chinese theater, it's a mock-up or whatever of it.
Oh, I've never been.
Is this at Universal Studios?
Yeah, yeah. Well, actually, no. It's at Epcot.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, some ways you get on it, and basically, it's sort of like a tour through like old school Hollywood. There's like a Wizard of Oz section. There's an old Western section, but there's a section where you actually go into the Nostromo.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's old. Yeah. That's old school. I love that.
There's like an animatronic of Ellen Ripley.
What?
Yeah, and she's pinned up against the wall, and hyperventilating and everything like that. Like she looks like all glossy and sweaty and everything like that. An alien drops down from the ceiling. That ride is closed. Same thing.
Why have I never heard of that ride?
But on the other side of the coin, we got Star Wars Land, a huge fucking section of parks.
Fuck yourself.
It is Star Wars Land, okay?
Well, the problem is that it's got the Millennium Falcon in the middle of the entire fucking setup, whatever. However, the entire setup is dedicated to the new sequel trilogy, which nobody gives a fuck about.
I mean, that's where their money is right now, because that's what they own the rights to.
I would have liked to have seen that with Ripley and all that. It'd have been cool.
Yeah, I'm a little mad I didn't even know about that. In fact, I'm sure there's a YouTube video where it shows because a lot of the YouTube videos out there, you can actually go and watch somebody doing a POV shot of an old ride and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to look that up.
So, hold on. So, Tyler, when you did your ride for Universal, I appreciate I'm going to put that in my pocket for later. Can you, did you get to see Jaws and was it good or was it shitty?
No. It was just like the movie. I mean,
cool.
The shark doesn't look real, and you can tell it's an animatronic shot. But for a I think it was 14 or something like that when I got a chance to go see or go on the ride.
It was still impressive.
Yeah, and it was great.
No, my experience was fucked.
For somebody who loves Jaws and everything that this film has brought us. It was great. I remember one part. There's this huge explosion and it was I remember it being so fucking hot. There's another part where the shark bites onto it tries to attack the boat. It bites onto an electrical line. It gets electrocuted just like in Jaws 2. And then the next time it tries to attack the boat, its face is all charred and shit. Looks like a fucking
Jaws 2 style.
Yes, face looks like all Two-Face style. And everything.
See, you got the cool experience, man. Mine was fucking.
You guys suck. I never got to see any of that.
Mine was
shit.
lame as shit.
Okay, you guys all remember the movie Mallrats?
Yeah.
Remember the scene where the guy says that I was going to propose to her on the Jaws ride right when Jaws pops out of the water? Did you all laugh at that scene?
Yeah,
that was a good one.
That's your whole fucking contribution to that.
Well, I didn't get to go on the rides.
My fucking ass. I didn't fucking go on the rides. You still don't see me fucking contributing goddamn bullshit.
I'm trying to contribute something.
No, that was
garbage.
That was a Chris Farley moment. Hey, so that was awesome.
God damn.
Yeah. Cool story,
Sinner.
bro.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right, go back to your fucking movie.
Yeah, cool story, bro.
Oh, God.
I don't want to claim him right now. He just messed it up so bad.
Rod, I love you, dude.
Hey, Sammy. Hey, punishment shit bad?
No.
Just asking for a friend.
So no.
We're not calling for a vote. We're just curious.
No, and here's why. So the whole reason, and I was actually about to say this story, and I was going to say it so much better, but then he's like, the movie Mallrats, and then shit the bed. And so, legitimately.
hey, you guys know that Tool song where he goes, God damn it, shit the bed.
Legitimately. So, legitimately, I have been in love with Jaws since I was 5. When I saw it when I was 5. Okay, I
great
loved it.
parenting.
You saw it when you were 5?
Great
I saw it when I was
parenting.
5. It was on TNT.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
On cable back in the day, and
I like sharks.
I loved it. I wanted to be a marine biologist. I wanted to study it. Everything. I was obsessed with it. Still love sharks. Still obsessed with sharks. But Ron was actually going to propose to me on said Jaws ride, but unfortunately it closed out. They did literally their last season, and we never got a chance to go down there for it. So that was supposed to be the proposal story that he.
You were stealing your proposal from Mallrats?
No, because here's the thing. I was absolutely super stoked about it because we had been together 7 years at that time. So what ended up happening instead is we went out and we went to the ocean. We went to Ocean City, and he proposed to me on the beach, and it was amazing. And then literally my favorite picture of that whole weekend is me laying on the beach reading Jaws as we're on the beach.
That's her favorite from the whole weekend. That's her favorite.
Well, no,
not
no,
you actually
like,
getting engaged. Not that. No.
that's great.
Her favorite has nothing to do with you. That's how shitty your fucking ripoff of a fucking wannabe proposal was.
Was it terrible? You're so mean. No, it was good.
All right.
I was actually getting so excited because he was about to say like the Mallrats thing, and like I was like, oh, he's gonna share our story. You guys see that movie? Crickets.
Yeah, did you?
I was like,
that was great.
I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, talk about like not knowing your audience. Hey, bro, have you ever seen Mallrats?
It's a good movie.
Look around you. Like, yes, we've all seen Mallrats.
Yeah, that was. Mallrats was great.
You ever heard of this director,
No,
George
you don't
Lucas?
fucking tell me you've never seen Mallrats.
What?
Oh,
You can't say anything.
No!
You can't say anything.
Except for never seeing Mallrats. It's a staple.
I'm sorry.
I love you, Lenny. You are my brother.
I saw Clerks. That was good.
I really love Monty Python, but the only thing I've ever seen of them is fucking Holy Grail. But I really love Monty Python.
I saw Clerks. I also saw Clerks too.
Oh my gosh.
Please
so
don't.
bad.
Jesus.
Please don't
All right.
disown me.
All right. So we got to a certain point to where the sequels had started to become like a parody of themselves. You know, like just as bad as we had like some of the imitations that were out there beforehand. The sequels got so fucking bad that they actually started to become imitations of themselves.
Yeah.
So me personally, I didn't think that Jaws 2 was really that bad.
No,
I
thought it was a
It wasn't-
continuation.
that's
It wasn't
the
bad.
only one that
But
I
it-
think even remotely stands up to the first.
To me, it's a direct downwards trend.
It is,
one is
but-
the top,
God.
2, 3, 4. It just keeps going fucking from
I
great to holy shit, how did this get made?
I liked 4 more than 3, but
But
anyways,
the thing is, I
continue.
disagree.
Oh,
I
four
think
is
Jaws.
terrible.
Oh my God.
Terrible.
Jaws 2 was really
Fucking
good.
Jaws, like
Roaring, somehow staying out of the water at like a fucking 45-degree angle, just roaring.
When sharks don't even have fucking vocal cords, they have no way to make fucking sounds.
But imagine,
But we have a tiger.
imagine how scary it would be if it did.
It would be fucking terrifying.
But what's also, they shows how lazy they got that literally, so, fucking Brody's wife stabs him in the neck, his head explodes. They literally used the same body shot from the end
Yes.
of Jaws for that shot in Jaws 4.
Oh, did
That's
they?
how lazy they were.
Oh, damn.
So good point. So originally, they were just supposed to to stab the body of the shark, and it was it was just supposed to die. Apparently, so we talked about screen test.
Yep.
Apparently, that didn't test very well, even though it's completely and totally believable that they would stab the shark and it would just die. No, for some inexplicable reason, they stab the shark and it explodes.
They actually bothered.
because science, I guess.
They bothered screen testing
Hashtag science.
any of that film at all because I saw nothing that told me that they asked any audience
Fair enough.
anything.
Yeah, no, I mean, Michael Caine did say, while he doesn't like the film, it did buy him a very nice house.
Good for him.
At least he's honest.
Sorry, he said he never saw the film, but it did buy him a very nice house. That's what
Crazy
he
that
said.
he was inside that film.
know.
I'm so shocked that he was in
Michael
that. Being
Caine.
the actor that he is today. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
Shocked-
I mean, you
shocked
had
at a heart
what's his
like a
name?
tangerine.
You had in Jaws 3D, you had Mike Brody was played by, oh gosh, what's his name? Dennis Quaid. I mean, Dennis Quaid was in Jaws 3.
Yeah, and then
And
the
now he's
one,
a huge fucking star.
and then the guy that played in Jaws 4: The Revenge was the guy that was in The Last Starfighter.
Yep.
I forgot the actor's name, but yeah, he was in The Last Starfighter.
oh yeah, the guy that played Mike.
Yes.
All right, so apparently Jaws 3 was originally going to be written as a comedy. It was going to be called Jaws 3 People Zero. Yep.
That sounds good.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, legit. I didn't believe this shit when I first heard it, but I was like, what the fuck? And this is real. So it was going to be titled Jaws 3 People Zero. It was going to be a National Lampoon's production, and it was actually going to be directed by Joe Dante.
Joe Dante,
who was just coming off of Piranha.
That would have been amazing.
See, I would have been all for that because Joe Dante is good for those type of stories, and the fact that he did Piranha, because Piranha was kind of sort of a rip-off of Jaws, just using a different animal, but an undersea animal. But I thought Joe Dante that would have been actually worth seeing, in my opinion.
Hell yes. With National Lampoon's backing
Yeah.
it too and completely pivoting expectation level. That's been fucking amazing.
Tap dancing sharks.
Yeah, talk about shitting all over legacy.
No, it's true. I would have been upset.
No, I mean, this is just like when Arnold Schwarzenegger does Kindergarten Cop.
You didn't like
You know what I'm
Kindergarten?
saying?
Yeah.
I mean, how the fuck
Yeah.
do you go from Commando and Predator or whatever to Kindergarten Cop?
I mean, yeah.
Trying
that
to
is true.
expand your range.
No. Even worse. Twins.
Hey, fuck you. Twins was amazing.
Fucking Twins suck.
Twins was amazing.
That's
Twins
the
was
worst
good.
fucking
Fuck you.
movie I've ever seen.
Fuck you.
Arnold Schwarzenegger bangs John Travolta's wife. It's awesome.
I love that in Lenny's mind was the saving grace of that film.
He totally
Okay.
does. He flexes his
Oh, my
bicep
Lord.
and rips the sleeve, and then the girl's like, that's it. That's it. And it just shows that fucking, what is it? What is it that what's his face says about having the big ass fucking biceps that have sleeves that are hugging the biceps?
What?
The fucking guy, the bodybuilder guy.
The guy that did that thing with that person.
C.T. Fletcher?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
The other
no.
guy that fucking yells. He's got the bandana and he
Hey
yells
guys,
into the
have you guys ever seen Mallrats?
Yeah, all right.
So Robert Frank.
Yeah, Robert Frank. He talks about the arms and like you got. Never mind.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then that was the moment. She looked at his bicep and he was like, this shirt is too tight. And then he ends up fucking her. It's awesome. All right, I'm sorry. I'll stop.
All right, getting back on
Walking
track, guys,
hard
'cause
on Lenny
I actually want to
in the
put
house.
out
Oh my God.
that it's interesting that Tyler mentioned that the stabbing didn't test well, hypothetically on Jaws 4, right, Tyler? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Well, it's so funny because that's legitimately how the shark dies in the book. He is stabbed, he's harpooned by Quint. So
Wait,
it's
what?
funny. Yes. So in the book, I think personally, I love the way the film and Quint and Jaws, he goes out, Jaws eats Quint, everything else. But the way that Quint actually dies in the book is substantially, I feel, much more like poetic. Because it's kind of cool. You almost see like a apex predators, right? You've got Quint and you've got the shark, because they don't call it Bruce, obviously, in the fucking book. They call it the shark or the fish. And literally towards the end, the more that Quint is like bloodthirsty, wanting to take on the shark and basically like go toe to toe with this beast, this monster. Okay. He actually Brody describes Quint's face as he's starting to look like the same dead eyes. Like he basically is taking on like the physical manifestations of the monster, of the shark.
Was his head
And
like a
it's
shark
really,
fin?
really let it go. Let it go, Stu.
Oh my God.
Let it go, Stu. Anyways,
Oh,
but
my
in the
God.
book, Quint literally, so in the book, how it's described with basically the way that they take out the fish is the shark breaches the side of the orca, similar to the film, but he breaches it enough to expose his underbelly, and Quint like shanks the shit out of it with the harpoon. Like he's got it in his hand, he shanks the shit out of it. And this is with the two other barrels like in the shark and all of that. And then unfortunately, when he does that, he loses balance. He gets his foot wrapped up in a rope that's attached to said harpoon, and he gets pulled over. And so you literally just see Quint like going down. And then eventually, what ends up happening, spoiler alert, the shark dies from his injuries, but not before literally it's coming at Brody. And then literally within a foot, it just stops dead in its track it dies from its wounds, and it sinks down. And then literally how Brody describes watching Quint being he describes him as dancing as he goes down with the shark. And I thought that was actually kind of an amazing ending in the book. I do feel that they did justice to it in the film, but it's funny because that was literally how the shark dies in the book. Yet it tested so crappy, apparently, with audiences because they're like, no, we want shark chunks that make absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
So in your opinion, like, does that sort of like give an example of the difference between the mediums?
Oh, 100%. That, and honestly, and this is, and I love Peter Benchley, don't get me wrong, but he has a lot of reference to the nards in his stuff, like everywhere. Like for some reason, he was very obsessed with the fallacy of the shark, and I never realized that until I literally reread it for like the fourth time, and I was like, why is he so obsessed with the shark's junk? But again, I think it was, this is supposed to be apex predator virility thing. But yes, it is definitely a difference in the medium. I love the film. I love how Quint, like, he goes down fighting and everything else. I do love that in the film. Absolutely. It's one of my favorite scenes.
I'm going to say this flat out. Compared to the book, I think the death scene inside the film was a whole lot better. Just from what you just told me, I find the film a lot better. I find it more Captain Ahab type of way, just going down, just being. What do you guys think?
I think you're not a reader. That's why.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not.
Yeah,
Thank you. I
what
feel like
she's
you just literally got
describing-
notes and we're like, yeah, no, the book sucks.
No, what she's describing is a complete Moby Dick type feeling of Quentin, in the role of Ahab and Moby Dick, as Jaws. It's completely an homage to that, and the drama. You don't win. There's no real clear winner in this fight. You're sacrificing everything for your greatest enemy.
For vengeance, essentially. Like, he is so consumed with taking over and conquering this monster, this fish, this enemy, that he doesn't care that he literally, in the book, does not care that he's no longer being paid to hunt the shark. He wants to kill the shark or be killed by the shark. It's like literally the gauntlet is down. And I felt that was such a powerful ending.
Especially after in the book, does he have the USS Indianapolis?
No, that's not referenced
backstory
at all. No.
Okay,
no.
well, because to me that would have fit completely perfectly with his character in the film, with what he went through and everything, and then wanting to basically his ending being a fit to what his brothers went through.
So you guys agree that the book ending is a whole lot better than the film ending?
No, I think it's more poetic.
Okay, I can see what you're saying by that.
So one of the things I was going to say is that I haven't seen Mallrats, so no. I have something relevant, I swear. So
unlike Ron,
I haven't read the book, but I will say this: the scene where it's actually kind of cool because we have the little statue up there, but where the shark comes up and actually ends up taking the guy down. That panic where he starts kicking his legs and he realizes, "Fuck, I'm about to get eaten by a shark and I'm gonna die." That scene for me is one of the most intense scenes in film ever.
You could hear him like hyperventilating almost.
Dude, the guy was so realistic. He was. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if the actor himself was actually kind of freaked the fuck out because this shark, although he knows it's fake, it's still fucking intimidating. And he was 100% committed to that role. He was 100% committed to that scene. Because you feel it when he starts kicking his legs, like he's fucking desperate. Like, God, please no, please no, please no. And then when Jaws fucking brings his teeth down into him, and he just kind of
crunch,
and he goes, and he just starts fucking bleeding out of his mouth, and he just kind of accepts the fact that fuck, this is it, I'm done.
Then you see his dead body,
and then you see the shark and him just kind of slowly dip into the water. Dude, for me, that was fucking brilliant. The way that scene went down was fucking brilliant. It was bone chilling the first time I saw it. It's bone chilling every time I see it.
Yes.
It was fucking amazing. So I haven't read the book, so I can't make a comparison. All I can simply do is give my opinion. That scene was fucking great.
Yes.
So we'll get into where the whole story came from.
Okay.
So the story was loosely based on a series of shark attacks that happened in 1916 in New Jersey. 5 people were killed in the span of about 12 days along certain spots, like along the New Jersey coast, including Matawan and Beach Haven. One of them being an 11-year-old boy named Lester Stillwell in a creek about 1 mile from the shore. And there's still a great debate as to whether this was a great white or if it was a bull shark, because apparently a great white was caught nearby and actually had human parts inside of it. But on the other side of that, there was also great whites aren't really known to swim up rivers or creeks or anything like that. But bull sharks are.
Because they can do brackish waters and they have more aggression because they have higher testosterone in them than great whites.
Fuck yeah, they do. Juice me up, baby.
Tyler's like, if I was a shark, I'd be a bull shark.
I'd be a thresher.
So, Sammy, this is for you specific. I'm going to throw this out there. And
you haven't seen Mallrats?
I haven't seen it. So that's the ongoing thing. No, so and this is sort of playing into what you were saying as far as the book was concerned, where the guy was saying that either I'm going to get eaten by the shark or I'm going to kill a shark, one of the two. Mm-hmm. Tell me if you're familiar with this. And either must die at the hand of the other, for neither can live while the other survives.
There can only be one.
Harry Potter.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yes! That's fucking awesome.
Is that a Harry Potter thing?
It was.
Yes, it is.
It absolutely was.
Oh my goodness. You guys are
Dude,
hot
you got to
mess.
pound it because you knew what the fuck I was saying.
Yep.
So you can't get mad at me, Tyler, because at least 3 of us, at least half of us, fucking know Harry Potter. Sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I
I cannot
apologize.
believe we're bringing up Harry Potter.
During this
Jaws
Jaws
fucking
episode.
discussion.
People are listening to this are like, fucking hate that guy.
I thought we were talking about Jaws.
Well, yeah, but you said the thing, and it reminded me of the quote.
I know. It's all good,
And it's a
Lenny.
prophecy in Harry Potter. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So with the bull sharks, I really think that's the reason why they brought them into Deep Blue Sea 2 and Deep Blue Sea 3, and why they included those sharks as being sort of like their main antagonists of the story. It's because I believe it's a direct homage to the origin of Jaws.
I didn't
That's
even
awesome.
think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
know
fucking
that.
awesome.
So a little bit more about the production of the story. So if there's any sort of production hell list or production movie or movies that had just hellacious fucking productions, this movie should absolutely be on that list. Because this movie, its budget was nearly tripled from about 3.5 million to 8 million. The shoot went over by 100 days, from 50 days to 150. And in some days, apparently, there was no script whatsoever to work from. The actors apparently fought constantly, particularly Dreyfuss and Shaw, who is, I guess, drunk most of the time. Apparently,
You can see it.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah, and that's sort of a great thing, is because it sort of works for the storyline so well, because there's this great contention between Hooper and Quint, and the fact that those two didn't get the actual actors didn't get along at all plays well through the movie. You can tell.
Oh, yeah.
And it worked.
The
out
animosity it just bleeds through.
Yeah, it worked
No.
out. It worked out fucking great.
And that is so, again, another book, cross-reference, that is so prevalent in the book, how much, they literally hate each other. They are nonstop. Quint literally goes after him nonstop about how, oh, you got city hands, all of that.
So that's in the book?
lines. No. But that was literally the embodiment.
Okay.
Working class hero versus these, basically privileged, amity, vacationers
Trust
with
fund
all this
babies.
money. Yeah, trust fund babies, basically. And this working class hero type, that clash of those two casts is so prevalent in the book as well, that I think the fact that, they had that on-screen antagonism, it's so perfect. It was so appropriate.
I completely, everything that I've read, everything I've heard, I agree that was, it's amazing how well this film turned out with how many fucking problems it was going on in this film this entire fucking time. Like you said, a lot of times the script was still being fucking written. They didn't know what the fuck that was going on. Stories that I saw where the actors, before the filming was even done, were already talking shit in interviews about this film and saying how bad, basically preparing how bad it was going to be. When the film was getting ready to be released, Spielberg dipped out, went to a fucking Hawaii because he didn't want to be around what he assumed was going to be the backlash of how bad this fucking film was going to be.
Well, I mean, wasn't he getting phone calls from Universal almost every single day about you're fucked, you're never going to work in this business ever again? Just every single day. This movie gave him PTSD apparently.
Yeah. And from what I say, a lot they weren't even the money behind it didn't even have faith in Spielberg. The only reason he got the chance because he was friends with Lucas and another director. I'm blanking on his name.
Francis Ford Coppola and Brian De Palma.
And they were already their own little weird fucking directors, and he was his weird fucking little friend that was along with it. They gave him a fucking chance, but nobody really had any faith in him. All right, and so got all this shit. This to me is the perfect proof of a film that had to have been saved by the editor, and the editor should have been the one winning fucking Oscars for all the work and amazingness they ended up putting on that fucking screen.
The other thing, real quick, what's the editor's name?
That I'm not sure about.
Yeah,
that's the shitty part.
Nobody gives
exactly.
A shit. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody knows. And that dude may very well have saved this fucking movie, but don't know what his name is.
That's why it's such an amazing thing that everything that could go wrong went fucking wrong.
Oh, yeah. Do you know the story behind the yellow barrels? Okay, so in the book, yes, they use red barrels to help bring up the shark, right? They're using it to buoy him down. But the reason why Spielberg apparently had 5 wooden barrels, bright yellow wooden barrels, the reason why they ended up utilizing that so much is because Bruce broke down so much that they could still show the shark going after the boat by using these barrels. instead of having to rely on the great white turd, because it was never reliable. It was never. That's literally what they nicknamed Bruce. They nicknamed Spielberg himself nicknamed it the great white turd because it would crap out all of the time.
But I think that's another thing that made this film so great, because this thing was broke down so fucking much. They couldn't use it for
they got
any
ingenious with it.
Yeah, they had to not show it so often that they wanted to show it, because it was a broken piece of shit. That they had to build up more on the suspense and the terror and the audience imagination, and that's another thing that helped propel this movie to being such a wonderful piece of film. Everything that could go wrong went fucking wrong, and somehow it was a perfect storm that gave them just enough stuff to make a golden film.
Yeah. Believe it or not, the editor of the film, this Jaws was her last film that she
So was
did.
a girl.
Yeah, it was. Her name is Verna Fields.
Do it, sister.
Verna Fields. But another thing that I also have to bring up is the fact that this was filmed out in the water, and a lot of movies being filmed out in the water is extremely hard and difficult. And this was built. What was this? When was this film? 1975. 1975. And the thing is that even movies nowadays that are filmed out in the water are extremely hard, and the budget just gets higher and higher. I mean, think of Waterworld. I mean, that budget was over $200 million and a flop. But the fact is that filming out in the water, and Steven Spielberg did a great fucking job. I mean, all the shots of the boat, of the orca, and everything else looked beautiful. The way that they did it with the background, I thought they flawlessly did it. So the editor and the director did a great job at it.
But I don't know how much it was the director, and he was just filming everything that he fucking could, and the editor's like, nope, this doesn't work. Nope, this doesn't work. Nope, this doesn't work. And just keeping those few little gems and cutting stuff just fucking right to build up that suspense, to keep it tight and everything like that, where it just flowed excellently.
It worked perfectly.
In spite of what Spielberg was trying to put on
Sometimes
film.
that's the way films are made. Is sometimes they just film a whole bunch of footage, and they could just gather all that footage and make a really good film out of all. It could be a whole bunch of shit, like crap footage and good footage and everything else, but they can edit it to make such a.
Does that
great
make you
film.
a good director then?
Because he directs the scenes.
No,
the editor has to get. The editor needs to get credit too for the other thing. Editors always need to get a lot of credit for what they have to do.
You know who needs to get credit for this as well is John Williams.
Yes,
because straight up, he wrote the theme, and Spielberg. This is a true thing.
Yes,
found it
I know
on
where
the
you're
internet.
going with this.
Spielberg literally goes, "Okay, John, really, like, what are you going to give me for this movie?" And downplayed the theme, the original theme that is now so known everywhere, used in so many things. We all know that. I mean, you literally hum two bars. Everybody knows what the fuck you're talking about. Okay,
Exactly.
And Spielberg goes, "No, seriously, John. What are you going to do
He
for this
thought
movie?"
John was joking with him. He thought, he thought, oh no, that
Totally
has to
thought
be
he was
fucking
screwing with
fake.
them.
No way, this is fucking what you're really trying
And
to
then
get me.
Spielberg came back, after the fact and was like, holy shit, without that score, the movie would never have done what it did.
No.
So it's editing, it's your composer, it's your director to a degree. I mean, all of them. I mean, like Stu said, it was the perfect crap storm, but it yielded something amazing.
So, I mean, that's a great segue into talking about the score. Like, this is it's been said 1,000 times, and like we'll say it 1,001 times. Like this score, it is what makes what is part of like what makes this movie so fucking great, and what makes it so good is like, and what makes it so timeless.
Yes.
And it's not just like the dud that anyone recognizes as the theme of the shark, but the score like also kind of emphasizes like so many different aspects of the film. Like at times the score seems kind of whimsical, sort of like this mystery about is this is shark is it something of nature, or is it something like truly evil? Is it the devil incarnate?
Yes.
Is it? There's another aspect too. Like it's the score of when the tourists are coming into Amity, and like it has like this very kind of like Bach or Handel sort of with the harpsichord,
classical piece and everything else,
the harpsichords and everything like that. And even though it's talking about the tourist or whatever, it definitely sort of embodies the snobby nativist islander,
yes,
kind of the attitude of the people that lived on Amity. Like, do you remember the one part where Brody's wife Ellen, they're on the beach and she's talking to one of the locals about Amity, and she says, oh, you'll never be an Islander because you weren't born here. Like it's
yes.
Yeah, like it's
Very snobby.
Yes.
Very snobby.
Yes, and the score like perfectly emphasizes that with the music. So Ron, like I know you're a huge guy when it comes like to scores and everything like that. Please like tell me like like your impression of this movie and the score. And
oh,
everything.
dude, no, this like I said, that theme is iconic and it's also known. Like anybody hears that theme, they're like, oh, that's Jaws. That's a shark. That's a shark. That is what he did such an amazing job making those. Just that it's like 2 or 3 notes. And it's amazing. It's beautiful. John Williams is a genius when it comes to music. He's a 52 nominations in the Oscars. He's won 5. He does iconic with those scores. I mean, you think of Star Wars, you think of Indiana Jones, you think of Harry Potter. I mean, shit, you were just talking about Harry Potter. Schindler's List. There's another one. I mean, it's all these iconic scores that he does. And there is a scene in the movie that I fucking love that where you first see the full body of Jaws underwater going next to the boat. This is I love this part. You just see it. It's just grand and epic. You just see that. You see Bruce. I'm just going to call Jaws Bruce. Passing right by the boat. It's beautiful. I just love his music. But I have to say this. Everybody knows that theme. I mean, if you guys heard that theme, you know what that's from. I mean, because you've seen Jaws.
Yeah.
And what I really like about that piece of music right there is that, again, going back to sort of the whimsical kind of aspect of the score. This is the first time that those characters have actually seen the shark in person, and Hooper says it's a 25 footer or whatever. Like it's like this fucking this mythical beast that they've only heard about, and here they are seeing it for the first time, and the score perfectly emphasizes that.
No, it's beautiful. I fucking love the fucking score. John Williams, amazing.
Yeah, one thing I will say, just with having a minor musical background, so the reason that it's probably so successful, those 2 notes, the don form what's called a minor second interval.
Yeah.
And naturally, our brains think there's gonna be more. So our brains start anticipating, and so when we hear these notes that sound incomplete, we're already gearing up all of our senses for something else.
Yes.
And it's just a way of getting your brain to go along with it. And it just feels wrong in our head to hear something incomplete. And so we naturally are looking for that completionist.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'd have to check and see if it's a half step or if it's a full step up, because it does feel incomplete. So so in your guys' opinion, do you think that that what that was the heartbeat of the shark, or if it was your own heartbeat, or what is your what's your interpretation of those 2 solid notes
to me
that
it
says
raises attention
so much and stimulates such a feeling. What is that to you guys?
To me, it just raises the tension. It raises the tension of the shark coming at you. You don't know what's going on. It's just like dun and just gets grand and starts moving faster and faster, and the more it moves faster, you know that it's getting closer to you. So I love that. It's what do you think?
For me, I legitimately think that what inspires fear in the movie and makes the shark almost seem supernatural is, in my opinion, that sound is a sound of the shark's anticipation of his next kill, which again is not plausible because he's just an animal, right? They don't think that way.
Yeah.
But it gets you thinking in the mindset of because even though it's just an animal and it's supposed to be an animal that's just, it kills and it swims and that's all it does or whatever, the way that this story plays out and the way this movie plays out, it definitely gets the viewer thinking that this shark is it's thinking and it's fucking, it has a purpose of why it's doing the things it's doing, which is fucking terrifying to think about.
Yes.
It's not just some dumb animal. It almost seems like it knows what these fucking guys are trying to do, and it is anticipating moves, and it's almost like a game of chess, and it's anticipating moves, and it's making its own moves, and that's what makes it so fucking scary. And for me, I think that music embodies the shark's sense of what he's going to do next, and him thinking, and him moving in for almost like when you have a heat-seeking missile and it's locked in on its target, and the closer it gets, that beeping gets faster and faster.
You know what? I didn't even think about that. That's a good comparison when you do that, about the whole missile thing. That is really good comparison.
Yeah, so that's that's the way I see it.
Sammy.
So for me, again, huge shark nerd. To me, it almost sounds like how sharks move. You know, the burn. I mean, you have to think about it. Their whole body moves from side to side. So it's wane and back and wane and back. And as they pick up and they get closer, it gets faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then it finally charges.
Exactly. Like, you know, earlier today, Tyler was cool enough to show me how fast, like, this one shark with a drone, like, it closed this distance on a seal. It was crazy fast. And you could just, in your brain, you could just hear that theme, that ramping up and everything else. And again, you know, for this episode that you guys were so awesome to let me guest star on, I did just literally reread the book, and the POV of the shark, which is one thing. First off, again, this film was the first time to really give you a point of view of the predator, of the monster. You know, not just, oh, it's this thing that everybody's freaking out about, but actually seeing through the eyes of the monster. This is one of the first films to ever do that. In the book, again, it is so prevalent, and that was the crazy thing, is at first, you know, they're like, oh, it's just this dumb shark. And in the film, they're like, oh, it's rogue and this and everything else. But as you read the book and as you watch the film, you realize, oh no, this isn't your typical, like, oh, it's not just a dumb animal. This animal knows what's up. This animal, it is a game of chess. It is man versus beast. And the beast is actually not just stupid. He's actually reading and everything else. And this is very prevalent in the book with how, like, the shark basically will essentially F with the guys. Like, for example, in the book, there's this one scene that's so prevalent. Quint manages to get a hold of a unborn porpoise. Okay. He manages to find the mom. He takes the baby and he's holding on for something special. He doesn't know what, but he has this porpoise. So he finally breaks down. He's like, okay, if I have to use it, I will. Puts it out. And the way that the shark, literally, you think as you're reading, you think he's going to go from one side, but he actually comes from the complete opposite side, knocks everybody out, and manages to not grab the porpoise and manages to pull it off of the hook, that he actually straightens the hook. And Quint is sitting there the whole time going, oh, it's just a dumb fish. And they're like, have you ever seen a fish do this? And he's like, no, never one like this. And I love that in the film, same thing. You had the Quint character and you have Hooper and Brody going, have you ever seen this shit before? And Quint's like, no, I haven't. Like, that to me, it's so cool how they captured it so well in the film. And then again, you have that theme that's just, it's amping and amping and amping. The score is so vital to the impending doom in this movie. It's amazing.
Well stated. I like that.
Very nice.
Good stuff.
Stu.
Okay. So the way I'm picturing the dun-dun sounds is, you know how when you're in a darkened room, even though we don't have sonar or anything like that, we can start to sense stuff. Whatever the animalistic part of our brain is sensing, whatever different air pressures or whatever the case may be, whatever is causing us to sense, all right, we got something near us. Yeah. So that's the way I'm taking it. It's almost like our own internal sonar that is going off, that it's warning us, all right, there is something coming near us. It's getting closer. It's getting closer. It's dangerous. We need to be aware, keep our head on a fucking swivel, and know what the hell is going on. And it's that thing that I can't exactly put into words of why we can sense certain things through our non-traditional senses. And that's what I took the dun-dun sounds more as, even though I really do like Sammy's opinion of the shark swimming. That works really, really well.
So overall, like, it's really hard to say anything about this movie that hasn't been said before, like ad nauseum. You know, like, such as, like, you know, like the shark looks fake, or like it never worked.
That was a joke in Back to the Future Part 2. Remember?
Yeah,
the shark still looks fake.
Yeah,
Jaws 9.
That was horrible. That old school CGI.
I love the cheese. I do. I love it.
But that is something where people always make a joke about it, how the shark looks fake. But the shark does look fake. Mm-hmm. But
I don't care. If I see that big motherfucker coming out of the water towards me, my
that's
first
what I'm
instinct is
saying.
like, oh, that's fake. It's
what
like,
I'm
this
saying.
motherfucker's trying to kill me.
So when I finish
I
my
got
thought
it.
is that the shark looks fake, but when you see that big monster right there, it looks terrifying. I mean, you see something with that big of all the jaws, and you just like, that thing's gonna fucking eat me whole. I mean, it looks pretty fucking terrifying.
I agree. Like when Jaws and you see him, yes, overall. But there is one scene when Jaws takes out the super creepy pervy guy in the little red dinghy who's like, "Hey guys, you need help," and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like talking to kids in the pond, you creep." But like the scene where you see him knock the guy out when he's in the pond, you know, after the two boys, you know, scare everybody on the beach, and the scene where you just see the silhouette of him underneath and then it rolls over and he disappears and then he takes the guy and the guy's screaming, then you see his leg or whatever. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of shark films and that is actually one of the best, most realistic attacks that I think has been done.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
And it was
absolutely.
done, and it was done with Bruce. It was done with that piece of mechanical garbage.
That kind of reminds me of the poster that you talked about. The poster from the where it shows the whole beginning with that the lady that went skinny dipping in the beginning, and you see
Chrissy.
the Chrissy, and you see the whole silhouette. The poster where it shows like a faintly silhouette of the shark about to attack her, which is really cool looking.
So I'll be completely real about all this. Like I'm fucking terrified of sharks and really anything like that eat you alive, bears, zombies. Like, you know, like I've had nightmares my whole life about these things. And you know, like the fact that like that you can go swimming in the water and like the light reflects off the surface and you can't see what's underneath of it.
Oh, it's creepy as fuck. You don't know what's down there.
That is absolutely what is most terrifying about sharks to me is that they're coming and you'll never see them coming.
Yep. That's a primordial part of your brain. Just screaming, beware of the unknown.
And the fact that they literally mostly attack in 3 feet of water doesn't help.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Annie. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here, to give all the warm fuzzies.
I know. The thing is, when people go to the beach and everything, you never know because you see everybody out on the beach, but really, when you think about it, there's sharks out there, and they're just swimming by you. You won't even fucking know it. They could be about a foot away from you.
But most of the time, they leave you the fuck alone. You're not. And when they do bite, it's because they're taking
you're a fat seal.
Yeah, and then the second they realize you're not a fucking fat seal, they're like, I'm leaving you alone now. Yeah, you got like a big gaping fucking hole in you, but they're not usually they're trying to kill you.
It's a flesh wound. You'll be fine.
You'll be like one of that surfer chick from Australia.
Okay,
I
got to bring something up. It's kind of a comic thing, but you guys ever seen the commercial online where it's a tampon commercial?
No.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, there's a tampon commercial where a girl's like showing off this
because it's Shark Week.
No, exactly. But the thing is where she's showing a tampon and it keeps the blood from coming out. So you see her out in the water taking a swim, and all of a sudden you see Jaws come out of the water and just take a big chomp out of her. You never seen that?
No, but that's why women aren't allowed to swim in pools during that time of the month. They don't want to attract land sharks.
Okay. I'm just going to shut up.
Wow. I'm just going to leave that there. Just wow.
Because there ain't no arguing with
Bears
it.
can smell the menstruation.
Exactly. Exactly. Love Anchorman.
So the film intentionally, or I should say, like it should have, it unintentionally perfected the trope of keeping the monster out of sight until the end of the movie, and really kind of harped on on the most terrifying thing is that of the unknown. That's what you cannot see is the absolute most terrifying thing you can imagine.
Yeah.
And this whole trope has been redone over and over and over again throughout film. And my own personal fear has always been when you go into the water, the sun reflects off the surface and you can't see what lurks beneath, and that shit is absolutely fucking terrifying. And so Stu, you kind of mentioned about the shark had was constantly breaking down and and it was a fucking hassle and the crew was making fun of of the film itself and saying this is gonna be a fucking disaster, but because of that out of that bullshit what was able to sort of rise to the surface was the great characters of Brody and Hooper and Quint, and even the mayor and the townspeople and Mrs. Kittner. And kind of allow them to raise to the surface whatever of the great characters that they absolutely were, even the townspeople themselves. And it kind of makes Brody, for example, Brody was this, he's the city cop who had moved to Amity to kind of retire, become the chief of police, and he kind of becomes this conduit for the audience because as here he is this inexperienced I should say this man who's very, very experienced like in crime, like but inexperienced like with the life of like an islander and dealing with sharks and being on a boat and everything like that. He sort of becomes like a conduit for the audience to kind of experience like this whole adventure that he goes through. Yeah. So what do you guys kind of think about some of the characters with this film?
My favorite character personally was Hooper. I really thought that, yes, he was a trust fund baby and everything like that, but he was the one who knew his shit. All right. He knew everything that they were fucking wrong about. He's like, no, what you guys are saying is bullshit. Let's go ahead and actually do what we need to fucking do here.
That corner scene.
Yeah.
That corner scene right there. I loved how he was just like, he was very strict about it and also said this wasn't no boat propeller. This was
exactly.
It was not Jack the Ripper. It was a shark. I mean, he was very adamant about it, and I fucking loved that. I thought he did a great job.
Intense, man.
And even though he had the knowledge in the background to do everything like that, they still wouldn't give him the fucking time of day. Or they wouldn't take what he was saying, as what it is, the fucking truth. And just kind of blew him off
about it. Quint gave him shit throughout the whole movie.
All right, and I respect Quint as the working man hero that he was and what he had gone through and everything like that. But honestly, Hooper should have been the fucking guy who figured everything out and should have been the fucking, the lead when it comes to that. If you're going to be hunting, you need to know your prey. You need to know what they're going to be doing. The thing that pissed me off the most about Hooper is when Quint actually hooked the fucking shark and Hooper's like, oh no, that's not a shark. And so that I felt that went against character of everything else he had proven, how knowledgeable he was, and saying, oh, it's just some game fish or something like that. That totally was off character to me. That was the thing that pissed me off the most. And I think they did that specifically just to create more tension between Quint and Hooper.
But you know what? You also have to go back to the scene where they're inside the ship when they're all three kind of like just getting to know each other more at the night, and then they're talking about the scars that they have and going back and says, I'll drink to your leg and I'll drink to your leg, and then they start singing. They start to develop sort of a friendship because they both have a lot of similarities about themselves, especially about the sharks and everything else. So I actually...
Yeah, but ultimately they still didn't fucking like each other. And
no, they didn't. Right. But I think they kind of changed that throughout that part of the film. They kind of almost
came to respect each other.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
No, I absolutely agree with that. So I think the reason why Hooper and Quint didn't like each other so much is because they were kind of threatened by each other. Because they came from entirely different backgrounds. However, they both had sort of a similar passion and a similar knowledge. Quint throws a rope at Hooper and tells him to tie some sheep's bend fucking knot or whatever, and and Hooper ties it, and Quint comes over, Quint doesn't even bother to check to look at it, and he grabs his hands and he's just you got soft hands. You got soft hands. You've been counting money your whole life or whatever. This is not about.
That was a major threat too when he said that to him, and Hooper took a big offense to that.
I don't need this working class hero bullshit. I don't fucking need this, and then that's where their whole conflict kind of came down to is that Quint was very forgiving to Brody because he didn't see him as a threat.
Yeah.
Whereas Hooper, he saw him as a threat, absolutely, because I don't know. We'll
it's old school versus new school type mentalities.
Kind of, yeah. Because Hooper was a very, very educated guy. Very, very educated. Came from we don't really know this for sure. But
he came from a lot of money.
We assume that he had an Ivy League education or something like that. And then you have Quint, who's a very blue collar guy. Learned all his shit actually in the field. And here comes Quint, or Hooper rather. With his trust fund money or whatever and all this bullshit, and and Quint just didn't fucking blend it all, even though it's, you ever met somebody or had somebody in your life or whatever that didn't like somebody else, and really what their real problem was the fact that they were too similar.
Yes.
Yeah, in a way, I kind of feel that's Quint and Hooper's relationship is this, that they were a little too similar in a way. And and that's the reason why why they didn't melt at all. But also why when they sort of found common ground with their scars, why they suddenly kind of seemed to get along right away.
No, they gained respect for each other. That's why that's actually, believe it or not, one of my favorite scenes in the movie is all three of them and also Brody's kind of getting along with it. It's kind of funny because when they're talking about the scars and then Brody lifts up his shirt because he's thinking the only scar he's got is a fucking what's that thing?
Appendix removed.
Appendix removal, because he's trying to be a part of the crew, and he's like, I'm not going to bring that up, but. they gain respect for each other, and I fucking love that. And they have a lot of similarities. It's just different from different areas, different areas of sharks.
You know what I would kind of like to see though from Brody is like where he was shot.
Yeah,
working in New York City.
Yeah, a different type of threat, a different type of animal that you had to face.
Because he was more of a city person, not compared to an islander and everything else.
Yeah.
He was still trying to blend into the town altogether, trying to get used to everything, just like in the beginning when he was talking to his wife of how they talk in New York and how they talk on the island. Going back to your question about the favorite characters and stuff like that, because I love Quint. I thought Quint was a very, very well-developed character throughout it, especially when you see the shit that he's been through with the USS Indianapolis, which I think is a fucking beautiful scene. That whole story, it's terrifying, and when you listen to him telling that story, you're like thinking, oh my god, I mean, that's just crazy how the ship sinks and all those people are out there in the water and there's just sharks just eating them one by one every single night. You can hear the screams. It's a terrifying, great, and also very tragic. And I just think that it really shows his character and what he's been through and how he has this revenge towards sharks. So, because as you were bringing up, sharks has been something that he's wanted to kill all of his life. I mean, you could tell in his, I don't know what it would call it, his shanty on the dock or something like that before he left. There was shark everything. There was shark jaws all over the place. He was boiling shark jaws everywhere.
Well, he's a sharker.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how
he
what
makes
he does.
money.
Yeah.
That's how he charters and he kills sharks. He's a sharker.
Yeah. So I think something that a lot of people kind of agree on is the fact that Quint he's kind of like the hero of the story in a way. Most people seem to kind of gravitate to
you wouldn't think him as an anti-hero
to his character. No, that's even better description of him as an anti-hero. Robert Shaw's portrayal of Quint is unbelievable. You can say what you want about the Oscars, the fact that he didn't win anything as far as I know about.
He didn't even get nominated. He didn't even get fucking nominated. That fucking story right then and
got
there.
Snubbed.
Yeah.
It's one of those fucking Oscar snubs that everybody sees that, there's a lot of movies throughout the years where you see an actor portray a character so well and they completely get snubbed. That one was a snub. That one was a perfect example of an Oscar snub because he fucking deserved it. He should have won or got nominated at least for that role.
I'm curious who actually did win Best Supporting Actor that year.
Sammy, you can kind of jump in at any time about the
we didn't get
the betrayal of Quint at all, in the story.
So it's funny that you guys are so drawn to the different dynamics in the film because they're literally some of them are polar opposite in the books, and it's like Brody and Hooper hate each other in the book, okay, because Hooper stoops Brody's wife in the book. Okay, there's an affair between Ellen and
was that just
Matt
a random
Hooper.
sex scene that was just added?
So essentially, okay, all right, real quick. All right, first tangent with Ellen Brody, film versus the book is she was kind of a hussy. And honestly, she's like, oh, I'm a bored housewife, but I'm still hot after 3 kids. And I'm so bored during my days when my husband's working, whatever. And then she goes and she bangs Hooper because in the book, Hooper's this smart, trust fund baby, but he is a good looking guy. All the girls are swoon over it or whatever in the book. Okay. So Matt ends up banging Brody's wife in the book and Brody suspects it the whole time. And literally when they are on the boat, him and Hooper straight up get into it to the point that there is a scene where Brody describes if he had his side piece, he would have shot Matt on the boat. Legitimately, put him down. Also, spoiler, in the book, Hooper dies. He's eaten by the shark when he gets put into the cage. And Brody has absolutely no remorse about it. None.
Yeah.
He actually is more interested to know how Helen is going to take the news to see if it tells if they were basically having an affair.
Damn.
So, yeah, no, it's legit, they loathe each other. They started out friendly until the stooping of the wife occurred. And then not so much. But that being said, so yeah, I can't stand the book version of Ellen Brody, but in the film, I love the fact that they went polar opposite. She's super supportive. She loves Brody. She's faithful. It's great. I love that dynamic. I like that portrayal of her so much better, obviously. But that being said, as far as Quint and everything, I know this is going to sound counterintuitive. He's actually nicer in the movie than he is in the book. In the book, not all his dogs are barking. He is straight up cruel at times. For example, he talks about when he takes people out on charters, he will literally he'll hook like a blue shark, and then he will gut the shark from navel to nose, basically splitting the shark open, throw it back into the water, and then he will literally watch the shark eat itself. And he describes him eating its own entrails, and then other blues coming up and eating this shark that's still alive, trying to eat itself. And that, he's like, that's what people pay to see. So, you guys are paying me $400 to have me out here looking for the shark. You might as well get some entertainment. Again, you're talking about a guy that's so honestly has become so removed and so much of a predator in himself, which again, I've already mentioned, where he is really, really dark in the book. Quint is really dark in the book. What I loved about the fact in the film is you actually saw some humanization, even though he had the horrific story of the USS Indianapolis to kind of tap into that. The fact that he's still like, I'm going to bond with these guys and everything else. Because, like I said, he's almost like warm and fuzzy than compared to the portrayal in the book. So, yeah, no, I think it's really, really fascinating how they're so different, but yet they're still have some of the telltale signs of the same characters. But yeah, so that's my input on it.
All right, I'm going to go back to the Oscars. So these are the Oscar nominees and the one Oscar winner. The Oscar nominees are Burgess Meredith for The Day of the Locust, Chris Sondren for Dog Day Afternoon, Brad Dourif for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Jack Warden for Shampoo, and George Burns for the Sunshine Boys. George Burns won. These are Best Supporting Actor, because I figured that if he was nominated, it would be Best Supporting Actor, because he was a supporting actor. And no, he wasn't even nominated. George Burns is the winner.
Yeah. And I don't even remember any of those movies except for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Dog Day Afternoon.
You don't remember Dog Day Afternoon?
I've never
with
heard
Al Pacino.
I never
That was
heard
a
of any
great
of them
film.
except for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. It's the only film.
You've never seen...
Okay, I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I'm surprised at both of you, actually.
I've
never seen Dog Day
heard of
Afternoon.
them. Nope.
Yeah, that's
I am very shocked by that, Sammy.
I know. I'm normally more in the loop, but funnily enough, though, when you said One Flew Over the Cuckoo's, I didn't immediately think Brad Dourif either. I immediately thought Nicholson.
Well, that's because he was the main
Jack
actor.
Nicholson
Jack
Nicholson won Best Actor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay, that makes more sense.
Quint, if he was nominated, it would have been Best Supporting.
Supporting
he was a
actor.
supporting
No,
actor.
I agree.
But do you
No,
guys
I've never heard
agree?
of it.
Do you guys agree that he should have been nominated altogether?
Totally.
He should have.
Totally.
I mean,
No,
just that.
I
fucking-
never saw Sunshine Boys, so I don't know how George Burns did. But even though I did like George Burns as an actor,
Oh God.
he was. I mean,
No, that was one of his movies.
yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I can't, without having seen all those other films, I can't make a good judgment if he got snubbed because of what the film was,
Yeah.
or if he got snubbed because they actually had better portrayals.
Right.
So
I know. It's just, to me, that was a sure sign of pure great actor right there. Just the portrayal of Quint was just perfect, because that role is him. You know how I think I've said it in other episodes where one actor has a role and that role was meant for that actor. This
A
role was
defining
meant,
role.
yeah, defining role.
Absolutely,
this was that role. This was, and he did. I fucking love it. Iconic. So, anyways,
No, absolutely. Lenny, do you have anything to say about any of the actors in particular, like Brody or Hooper, or Quint?
Yeah, I got a lot to say. So, when it comes to Brody, one of the things that I love about that character is that, one, I was always a big fan of Rob Schneider for several reasons. One of the reasons being that he...
Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo?
What? Huh?
I was... You said Rob Schneider.
Yeah, Roy Scheider.
Roy Schneider.
Yeah.
punishment shot.
Suck my ass. So, Roy Schneider...
Who votes? Who votes? Oh, come on. Don't do this to me.
It's a mispronunciation of the name. I didn't say a completely different name.
It
Rob,
technically was
Roy.
a totally different actor.
Yeah, but but the name.
Unfortunately, because there is a Rob Schneider, and you can do it.
I was thinking of that when you said that. I was like, Rob Schneider.
It's Roy Schneider.
I like
and
the part
unfortunately,
where he plays a dolphin. And
All right, so who votes for a punishment shot?
Hi.
I gotta say, just because Rob Schneider is a known
Yeah,
actor,
it's
that's
a human.
it.
That name.
I'm sorry, I didn't want to.
So, anyways, so while he's pointing the shot, I'm gonna keep going. So, Roy Schneider.
Scheider.
Huh?
Scheider. It's not. There's no N in it. It's Scheider.
Never mind. So Brody, I like Brody's character. He He's very like one of those honorable guys that, you know, you can just tell by like the way he conducts himself that he's one of those hardworking guys that's just trying to get by, you know, loves his wife, loves his kids, does his job, and he legitimately cares about his job. Like he wants to do a good job. He wants to take care of his community. He wants to make sure that everyone's safe, which is why he gets so upset when, you know, the mayor's just like, fuck it, you know, we're not going to close. We're going to keep it open because we need the money. And he's like, yeah, but you're putting people's lives at risk and, you know, all that.
He did care. That's the thing. I think, enjoy that.
Yes, Brody did. He does care.
Yeah. He cares about, you know, the people he serves. Like he takes his job seriously, even though it's kind of a sleepy town job compared to what he came from. He still takes his job seriously. And there's something to be said about someone like that. And
you kind of get the impression that it was expected to be a retirement gig.
You know what? You know what it kind of reminds me of. Actually, I know this has nothing to do with Jaws, but it kind of reminds me of John McClane from Die Hard, New York over to. Well, I mean, it's a completely different atmosphere that he's at in L.A. compared to New York. Would you guys agree? Or would you think that doesn't?
I don't know that it totally compares because although L.A. and New York are polar opposites when it comes to like overall vibe and feel, they are both very big cities, big towns, you know, compared to where with Brody, like he straight up went from like a metropolis to like a little town, you know, basically.
Yeah. Well, he even says something about like there's so many problems in New York, so much crime, like so many robberies, like, you know, like so much rape and everything else.
Well, see, on the island, the whole difference is like all he's being bugged for is like people spitting on the fence and people in the parking spot. You remember that guy on the beach it was talking about somebody parking in his spot where his business is at. I mean, stupid little
you
small
put a
things.
red zone. It's super easy to do.
Exactly. Yeah. So
he makes like Brody kind of says like, you know, like there's so many problems, like, you know, like it's really hard to feel like, you know, you're gonna make a difference, whereas in Amity, like there hasn't been a murder or anything like that, like a robbery in the last 25 years, like, you know, like one man can really make a difference.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like his hope. And I don't know, man, like I kind of feel like that by the end of the movie, like he really does make a difference. Like, you know, he stops a man-eating shark, whatever, from destroying the entire town's economy. So he was absolutely right, like in what he said.
And you know, it's kind of funny is on the second movie how he was completely the second movie he was hated to the point where he was even fired and let go because he was the whole paranoia of the shark when another shark was invading the town basically, and then he even got let go on the job. Remember?
No, actually, I don't remember that. But
Jaws 2?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
That's frustrating about that too. Is that, you know, and it just goes to show you how quickly people fucking forget. It's like,
like the mayor got reelected and like they shit on Brody.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, I do you not remember the shit that happened? And you know, I ended up being completely and totally fucking right at the end.
That's
but if I remember correctly, in 2, he kind of went almost Boy Who Cried Wolf, where he was seeing sharks just about every fucking where.
Well, he had his paranoia about it.
Yeah, and so
he was kind
that's
of,
why he was basically fucking let go. Is because the town was
explode. You're gonna have a little PTSD from that.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying he was wrong to feel the way he did, but I can understand if you can't do your fucking job without seeing sharks every fucking where, then you're maybe not the right person to lead this fucking police force.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is although it did seem like he was crying wolf, he ended up being right the whole time. Like, you know, but no, so he was definitely a character that I cling to, and I really he reminded me not just in this film but in other films I've seen that actor in. He looks kind of like my grandfather, and he seems like an American version of my grandfather. My grandfather was British, but it was that generation of men who, like, you know, if they fucking shook your hand, that was it, man. Like there's no way in hell they're gonna break that bond. They keep their word. They don't break their oaths. They do their job, and they do it to the best of their ability because that's what's called upon them. He comes from that generation of men, and you really get that from his character, and that's why like I admired him so much, and I love that guy so much. One of the cool things about that actor that I like too is that he was a good guy in general. A good example of that was on set, and this hasn't been brought up. I'm surprised it hasn't been brought up in the show. There was a little tidbit of information that I got from watching different things about this movie, and one of the things was this scene with the mother who lost her son, and she blames him.
Yeah.
And there's that intense scene where she sits there and she says, it was in the intro, you know, you knew that it was dangerous and you still let people go out. Now my son's dead. and at the end of it, she slaps him.
Oh, man, I was so mad at that scene.
It was fucked up, but the more fucked up thing about that scene was that woman didn't know how to pull her. So every time she hit him, it was a legit fucking smack.
Yeah.
She fucking hit him. There was so many different. Because they kept fucking up the scene, and every scene she fucking full on hit him. And he even said, because he was being interviewed about this, he wanted to throttle the shit out of this woman because he was so fucking tired of being smacked in the face. But he never said a thing, and she legitimately felt terrible. She did. She felt so bad. And after every take, she's like, "I am so sorry." And he, you know what? He was like, "It's okay." He kind of put her at ease. It's fine, this, we're acting, whatever. He never made her feel like shit. He bit his lip and just took it. And because and he didn't make her feel bad. And that says something. Because, especially nowadays, most actors be like, fuck this fucking amateur, get her off set. I'm fucking tired of, fuck her, she fucking hit me. But he just toughed it out to make the scene.
That sells whether they're a good actor. But I'm going to say something about that scene is that scene really pissed me off because not the way that it was filmed, but the whole ideal of the fucking mayor and not taking any fault in it, because really it was all the mayor's fault. It wasn't Brody's fault.
Yeah.
Because the mayor pushed him. And
the mayor's being a giant fucking wuss because he totally let this dude take the fault for what happens.
And he just stands there and just watches it happen and doesn't do anything about it. Doesn't even say, I mean, he apologizes to Brody. Didn't he say, "I'm sorry" at the... He says, "I'm sorry."
He tries to apologize. And the thing I like about the mayor is that he very much embodied that, like, even like his fucking his over the top cheap looking suits that he wore. He had that that fucking that greasy, shoddy car salesman kind of a way about him.
I think he was a realtor, wasn't he? Isn't that what I want to say on the side?
One of the guys on the council was a realtor, yeah.
Because the side, the car door had something realty on it when they pulled up on the ferry boat.
He was one of those guys that is silver tongued and just tries to say whatever he has to say and not take real responsibility for anything he fucking does.
Well, and it's so funny because, again, book reference, cross reference. In the book, the mayor is straight up mobbed up. Like, he is legit
which makes
being ran
sense
by the
for
mob.
that time frame and that area.
Yeah. Amity is legit being run by the mob. So, if they aren't bringing in their money, basically the mayor's like, "I'm going to lose my thumbs." That he actually becomes a full-blown alcoholic, almost drinks himself into an early grave kind of thing in the book. So, again, just one of those crazy, I don't know if necessarily they were trying to touch on that in the film. And maybe that's why he was like, until finally he's like, "My kids were on the beach too." And he's losing his shit kind of thing. So,
what do you think, Tyler? What do you think was your favorite character that you kind of, more connected to?
Oh, I mean, that's a pretty loaded question. So I definitely enjoyed Quint's character.
Yes.
Jaws to me is sort of a revenge story for Quint. Here's a man who was on the USS Annapolis and went down with the ship and definitely he survived, but not all of him survived. He lost part of himself.
Yes.
And his
find
whole
his character.
And his whole goal ever since whatever it has been to seemingly to destroy every single shark on the earth because you see his shack and it's got all these jaws and everything like that all over the walls and part of who he is it's his single mission is to destroy the sharks sort of a Captain Ahab kind of character. And to hell with everything else, and to hell with the money, and to hell with the life of these two other men that he has with him. It's all about destroying this shark that has becoming his whole existence. And yeah, I mean Quinn is definitely a compelling character, but at the same time so is Brody. Brody's he's kind of a fish out of water. He's he's a city policeman who's not a very good swimmer, suddenly put on this boat to face off with this man-eating shark, and you kind of see the whole thing through Brody's eyes. Yeah, I don't know. I really can't say who my favorite character is because to me both Brody and Quint are very, very compelling characters. Hooper's pretty cool too, but it just doesn't have the same same I don't know
gravitas,
allure, or sort of not as compelling as Quint or Brody.
I'm going to say this overall. the three actors, Richard, Roy, and Robert, they portrayed the actors perfectly and the chemistry. And I know that you said Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss didn't get along on set, but they did it so it actually probably helped, the dynamic between them and the acting of this movie, because you could see it. You could see it right then and there. So all three of them together on that boat. In fact, I'm going to tell you flat out, in the whole movie itself, I like the beginning. I like the whole beginning, the whole first hour, that's on Amityville Island and everything else. But overall, my favorite part of the movie is just them three on the boat. What did I say? Did I say Amityville?
Amityville?
Oh my
Amityville?
God.
Where's the house?
All right.
I get shit for mispronouncing a fucking name.
Is Mateo in there shooting it up? Is he hearing the voices within?
I will volunteer. You guys want to vote? I will volunteer. That's me.
Shot.
All right. Shot.
It's not Amityville.
I fess up. I
All right.
fucked up there. All right.
So hold on. We haven't discussed, since somebody is no longer is completely out of Screwball. Are we doing tequila because he is not properly prepared?
Yes.
Oh God.
Casamigos.
Lenny.
Yeah, go get the tequila. The
All right,
that's mine.
All right, so maybe you should properly prepare for the show, young man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, I fessed up and said I'm going to go ahead and take the shot because I screwed up there. I don't know why I called it Amityville. What the fuck? I'm sorry. Yeah, stop. Okay, I understand.
totally a look of judgment there, Ron.
All right.
Way to drop the ball.
All right, hold on.
All right, so take that tequila, baby.
Tequila.
All right, and fucking Lenny just. That's not helping my situation. The fucking smell, and then fucking seriously, that's not helping my situation.
Yes.
That tequila's warm and gonna come right back up.
Oh yeah, baby.
Breathe through your nose.
Yeah, baby.
There it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. All right. What was it? All right, Amity. All right. So, anyways,
stop pronouncing it Amity. It's Amity. You fuck.
Amity. All right. So all together, I'm going to say this: the last half of the movie, the last hour of the movie, was my favorite part. That's the most entertaining part. Just watching these three, just the way that they're talking to each other, the fighting, and then the whole respect when they're down inside the hull of the boat and just talking about everything that's going on, and then talking about the scars, and then the shark just comes out of the blue. I loved it. It's the most entertaining part of the movie. So, anyways.
So some of you may not know this, but Quint was actually based on a real life shark hunter from New York, Frank Mundus, who was out of Montauk. Who was just as irreverent as Quint was. You can actually watch a 1986 interview he had with Letterman, where it kind of seems like the guy was kind of set up because here's Letterman, this city slicker kind of guy. Who's completely and totally opposed to any sort of hunting or anything like that. Views every sort of hunting as poaching.
Yeah.
And it's very, very apparent that that Mundus doesn't give a fuck about what Letterman thinks or who he is or anything like that. To him, Letterman is just another city yuppie who doesn't know shit about hard work. And you can see a very, very similar dynamic between the two of them, that you see in Quint or Hooper. So you can check out the interview with Mundus and Letterman, and you can kind of see for yourself.
Sounds good.
Yeah. It's very, very.
You said this is on YouTube?
Yeah. You can see it on YouTube. It's a very, very similar dynamic between Hooper and Quint. But beyond that, there's many stories that fall within within one of the great classic tropes of man versus beast, or nature, man versus man, or man versus himself. This story on its face seems to fall within the man versus beast category, as many of these films do. That's sort of kind of copied.
Yeah.
The whole Jaws formula, Lake Placid and Piranha and all that shit.
What would you say is probably the best representation of Jaws that is actually successful compared to all the ones that have come out? What do you think would be a good comparison to Jaws that, you wouldn't say, oh, that was crap,
Jaws.
No, I'm talking about what.
That was good.
Forget what I said.
Good. That makes me happy. That makes me. No, it does.
I'm having a bad one.
That was so good. It's just such. Nope. There is nothing else. Plain and simple.
Have you guys seen that movie, Mallrats? It's a good movie.
Yeah, that was good because there was guys and they were walking around the mall talking about stuff.
Stop acting like you're part of this, Lenny. You don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
Believe it or not, you're actually that's what
I know
going
Stanley's
on.
there. Don't say believe it or not.
No, that's what I'm talking about. When he says people talking around the mall, that's actually what happens in the movies.
Booyah. See, I have seen.
You want some chocolate covered pretzels?
It's funny
Good one, Stu. Good one,
It's
Stu.
funny because he didn't get the reference.
Exactly.
All right.
You're not cool enough for the inside jokes.
No.
But as we had mentioned before, that you kind of see this whole story through Brody's eyes, and through Brody's eyes, he kind of falls into every single one of these tropes because he's a man he's a man who faces man when he squares off with the town mayor and he's sort of conflicted. And in the townsfolk over closing the beaches, he faces himself when he's confronted with this responsibility of dealing with the shark, maintaining the safety of the town without crushing its economy, and he also faces himself when he's on the Orca and he's dealing with seasickness and simply being out of his element as a city cop, and just kind of being like I said out of his element, and then of course he faces the shark, that's the man versus the beast.
Well, and again, to add on to Tyler's thought, everyone keeps leaving out that Brody had to overcome this crippling fear of drowning, and he's on an island and he's out on a boat fighting a shark. So that's another thing I think that ties into what Tyler just said, where it's overcoming these different variations, these different challenges of himself.
Yeah, see, that was even talked in the movie because I remember his wife saying something where he
I love how she does that. She's like, "There's a clinical name for it, drowning. That's what it's called, drowning."
No, I'm talking about that when they're on the ferry, he stays in the car.
Yes, no, that's literally what she's like. There's a clinical name for it, isn't it? He's drowning as he drinks his huge beer glass of wine.
Yeah, you're right.
So Quint as well, is less of a story about man versus beast, and a revenge story, and more of a man versus himself, because his whole story is more of his passion to destroy the shark that took something from him after the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. And even though it's not the same shark, the shark is is an idea or a visage of an event that stole his humanity. And we can't really know who Quint was before the Indianapolis, but we do know that he is a man who is incapable of living a normal life, and whose sole focus is the destruction of this shark. We kind of see rationale behind all that because when he destroys the radio and sabotages the engine, why? Fucking why? What do you guys kind of get out of all that? When he destroys the radio and he sabotages the engine by over revving it, and singing these sea shanties as he does it, why did he do that?
It was pure vengeance, feeling him, pure vengeance. Since was backburnered. I'm just came to my brain was the line from Kill Bill when she gets the sword from the guy that's he'd never make swords to kill Bill, and the line that beautifully describes it is, even if God himself put yourself in front of him, you cut him down in order to basically fulfill this vendetta. Yeah. And that I think is Quint to a T. Nothing is going to stop him. Brody wanting to call in, get a bigger boat, none of that. He is going to take this enemy down, period. It's all consuming.
Yeah, I can agree that 100%. He doesn't care what anybody else fucking thinks. He sees an opportunity, the biggest opportunity that embodies his past, embodies the horrors that he had seen and lived through. Unfortunately, in his mind, he unfortunately lived through them. And this was the perfect embodiment. And it may not have been several sharks, but it was the granddaddy of the sharks. Mm-hmm. And one way or another, he is taking that motherfucker out. Doesn't care what anybody says or what he has to sacrifice to do it.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, him, disabling the radio, disabling the boat makes it to where they don't have an option. They either kill this shark or they fucking die trying. And the fucked up part about it is that by him doing that, he sucks the other two guys into that scenario, because it's basically like what we were talking about earlier, that it's either I'm going to die because the shark's going to kill me, or I'm going to kill this shark. Either way, but he kind of sucks the other two in, unfortunately, into that whole situation, because they were going to try and call for help. They were going to try and get someone else involved, and he was like, no. It's now or never. It's right now. So
Right,
that's
right,
why.
right.
He
Yeah,
was
but
so
you also got to go. You also have to go back to the part where right afterwards, where they kept trying and doing everything his way, and everything didn't work, and then he kind of just ran out of ideas, and then he kind of went over to Hooper and says, "So this shark cage, what's the deal with this?" And sticking the little what is it, poison into the shark. And he said, "You're trying to get this through the skin." Yeah,
Or cyanide.
Yeah.
Cyanide?
No, strychnine.
Is that what it was?
Strychnine. It was strychnine. Okay.
Yeah. So he wasn't giving up, but he was like, he ran out of ideas, so he was kind of relying on Hooper on what to do, and bringing up the whole shark cage, and they went with Hooper's idea, and that idea completely went to shit because the fucking shark just tore up that fucking cage. Yep.
Yeah, but he lives in the movie, so there's a plus.
Yeah, he dies in the book, right?
He gets eaten in the cage.
That's what she said.
Oh, he gets eaten in the cage?
Yes,
oh,
that's
Hooper
what she talked
gets
about
eaten
earlier.
in the cage.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, no, legitimately, Hooper gets eaten in the cage. But it's funny because, kind of in the line of what Lenny said earlier about the Brody character, because I do feel that the portrayal in the film of the Brody character is the most accurate to the book. Quint's amazing, don't get me wrong, but the most accurate to like the actual written character was actually Brody, because again, sidebar, in the book after Matt Hooper dies in the cage, they come back in. They come back into port, and then literally the next day, Quint's like, I'm going out there, and Brody makes the choice. He's like, I'm going out there too, because he's still, it's so important to him to make sure that Amity is safe, that this enemy is done, because they're at their wit's end. And Quint's like, I'm going out, hell or high water, I'm taking out this shark. And Brody's like, I'm going to go with you because I have to make sure that it gets done.
Yeah, didn't in the story, didn't they go back into port like every single night?
Yeah, like literally 3 different nights. They literally came into port, and then 3 different times they went out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they didn't stay out like in the movie where it was just like one.
No, it wasn't one continuous thing. No, they
Yeah.
came back. They like literally were like, "Man, that effing sucked," and they're like, "All right, we're going after the shark again."
Yeah.
And then
So
even
they-
the
they
day
weren't-
after Matt dies, they're like, "Oh, we lost Hooper. That sucks. Were you banging my wife? I don't know. Okay, cool. We're going back out and killing the fish." Like, yeah, no.
All right, so overall, guys, what would you think of that? What do you think? Do you like the book part of that, or do you like the part when? Did I say fart?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Fart part?
Anyways, did you like? did you guys like the part when they actually stayed out and they stayed overnight on the Orca and everything else? Which part would you?
No, because without that, you don't get the scar.
nobility.
You don't get the scar comparison scene. You don't get the story about the Annapolis or anything like that. You don't get the show me the way to go home.
I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
Go to bed.
I agree.
Had a little drink
Had a little drink about an hour ago,
It
and it
went
went right
straight
to my head.
Come on, guys.
On land
the
or
way to
sea
go
or
home.
foam, wherever they may roam.
You
Come
guys
on, guys.
suck.
I don't
You're
think.
supposed to- all right, never mind.
Nobody.
Thanks for being part of the team.
Bunch of Jaws fans.
The shark came and ate everybody. Yeah.
I think the film worked better. It not only included those scenes where they were able to bond more, but it worked better to isolate them even more.
Yeah.
Away from, you don't have that regular reprieve.
You know what? I
going
didn't
back
think
and
about that.
forth.
The whole isolation.
It was those 3 people versus the shark, and that's what it is.
And also, they were
Hammer that home.
panicking. I mean, there was a whole bunch of things that were happening. They were panicking when the fucking engine on the Orca goes out, which I really like the scene where that's another scene where you see Hooper and Quint getting along with each other is when they're both working on the motor of the boat. And
Yeah, just for Quint to turn around and straight up be like, "Hey, you should slow down." He's like, and black smoke is coming out.
oh yeah,
But by that point, all the dogs weren't barking. So
So we talked quite a bit about the great aspects of this film, and for everything that is amazing about this film being the original blockbuster and setting the stage for so many cheap imitations thereafter. There are some pretty glaring plot holes that we have to discuss about this movie. My particular gripe is we have this shark that's been attacking people near the shore the entire single time, and sharks are very, very territorial about where they hunt. But it seems like as soon as Brody and Hooper and Quint all go out in this boat to deal with this shark, it suddenly just kind of forgets about everything that's going on shore, or forgets about just kind of moving on to another one and focuses solely on this boat. Why? why would it why would it fucking bother with like with this boat where it can just easily go down to like to the next beach or whatever and like and get easy prey.
Just keep eating.
Like it's a predator, it's an opportunist. Like why the fuck would it bother with this boat? And like it kind of, I don't know if that's sort of an embodiment of Quint's desire to destroy the shark, and the shark's like its own its own revenge against these these people or whatever. Like I don't know if that was part of it, but to me it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like so, Stu, I know you're great at at kind of picking apart stories and and finding plot holes and everything like that. What are some other gripes that you have about this film?
All right. So you're talking about the engine, the engine problems. You know what would easily solve that fucking problem? If they brought out Hooper's fucking boat with them and doubled their fucking chances of finding the goddamn shark. The boat that has the most high-tech fucking goddamn fish finding equipment that they currently have at the time. No, we're going to leave that motherfucker, on the back of the docks or whatever. All right, nope. We're just going to all fucking put all of our money on one fucking boat, and that's fucking it.
Yeah, let's
Quint,
get the old boat, the Ford fucking Pinto.
All right, but you know what?
Exactly.
Quint wanted to do it his way. He was extremely stubborn. Says, "I'm the captain. I'm doing it my way. We're going to be on my boat."
Yeah, there's no reason they could. Fucking Brody could have gone with Quint, and fucking Hooper, even if he didn't,
could have just caravan
he'd be like, "Okay, fine. You guys go do this. I'm going to go fucking look out for him too." And we can stay in radio fucking contact if we have to. Or we can stay in fucking sight line to each other if we fucking have to. All right?
And not to mention he had a fucking fish finder on his boat.
Exactly. I did not understand why they would fucking do that except for plot convenience.
See, I think that like I said, I think that goes back to Quint. He was stubborn. He wants to do it his way.
Hooper, who didn't like fucking Quint at the time, his character in my mind would have been like, okay, fine, fuck you. I'm still going out there looking for the goddamn shark. And if I know you have a fucking radio. If I see something, I'm going to yell at you guys, whether you like it or not.
I understand what you're saying. It's just, I guess it doesn't make for an entertaining movie that way. I guess
it's less dramatic.
And speaking of dramatic, another fucking plot hole that I didn't fucking like. So they have the town hall meeting, right? They show everybody in the fucking town hall meeting. You don't see fucking Quint there. They show the chalkboard. You don't see a fucking drawing of the shark on the fucking chalkboard.
Yeah,
so which means you have this fucking dramatic drama queen of Quint. He decided to sneak in there while the meeting's going on, draw a shark on the fucking chalkboard, and then drag his nails down. He's like, everybody look at me, I'm the shark hunter.
This is one of those and I'm going to deliver this entire monologue as I casually eat chips.
Exactly. He was so dramatic for no reason.
It'd be great if someone just walked over to him and smacked him and been like, "Stop doing that. It hurts my ears, dick." And he's like, "I have a monologue. Fuck off. Shut up."
All right. Another thing that pissed me off. All right. So the mayor demanded proof that Ben Gardner was killed by a shark. All right, and if he had proof that he was killed by a shark, then we'll go ahead and close the fucking beaches again. All right, they find.
He dropped the tooth.
Yeah, they dropped the tooth. You know what would probably really have helped prove that he got killed by a fucking shark? His fucking severed head that was there. All right.
I brought it in this morning. Where was the head?
Exactly.
Or tow his boat to shore.
Exactly. Yeah. All right.
Or never mind the fact that there's huge fucking shark bite marks on the boat itself.
Yes.
Literal bite marks of the fucking shark. He's like, we need proof. Brody's like, I brought that shit in this morning. Why didn't you check it out? But you dropped the tooth. You dropped it.
Yeah, at this point, there's been like 3 people killed by this shark. It's been Chrissy, the Kittner boy, and Gardner.
And speaking of Chrissy,
Pippin.
How come
Pippin the dog? Nobody talks about that. Poor Pippin.
Okay. Another thing that pissed me off is, so when Chrissy dies, the town doesn't really react much to it. All right. So was she a fucking hated fucking person? Because when the next boy dies, then the whole town freaks the fuck out. All right. So was this kid fucking liked, and Chrissy was just fucking an outcast or some shit?
Well, they kept it hushed, didn't they? I mean, they try not to spread.
But how are you going to keep it hushed? You saw the other kid's mother just completely lose her fucking shit,
yeah, she
smacking
him
him
out in tabloids where other people came from other towns to come and kill this shark.
Yeah, but how come? What, did Chrissy not have a fucking family?
Actually, in the book, she was a drifter.
Okay.
In the book.
Otherwise,
She was a
no.
drifter.
All right, that's not a fucking address in the goddamn movie. It was kind of implied in the movie she was a part of the group because she was hanging out with all the fucking teens and shit like that. So it's implied that she was just one of the kids.
Yeah.
But was she really? Because she was even sitting on the outskirts of like their little communal circle.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
All
right. There's other
Whereas
couple
you
things.
have the Kittner boy get eaten in the middle of fucking everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Get in the middle of eating everybody. They talk about. Hooper mentions it'll be great that they'll be out there at nighttime because they do night feedings and everything like that. But the only night feeding was on Chrissy. Every other fucking eating was during the day or early morning.
You don't know when Ben Gardner's boat goes down.
You're right. But the ones that they do show, what happens? It's during the bright fucking middle of the goddamn day or it's early fucking morning. All right? No night feeding. They talk about the rogue shark theory that they have. He must be eating all by himself and shit like that. Isn't that what sharks fucking do? Don't they eat by them fucking selves?
They eat dusk and dawn. And no, because then how do you have shark frenzies?
But when you're talking about like great whites and shit like that, you're talking about sharks by themselves. You don't see them.
Rogues, yes.
Okay. All right.
They do feed at dusk and dawn, which technically if there were early morning killings, it would fall into the dawn like bracket.
But still, it's not middle of the fucking night like Chrissy.
All right, hold on. We got to bring this up. Was she arrested?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
The actress was?
Yes.
Yeah, he just pulled up a...
Was she swimming naked at night? Was it public nudity? Please, I think it was public nudity.
No, I mean, back in 75, she was absolutely a dime. However, she was
life got hard real quick.
She was arrested after a crash. I'm trying to find the date here. Back in 2018, it seems like. And yeah, the years have not been kind to.
That didn't even look anything like her.
Yeah,
she looks like she got arrested for meth.
I thought that's exactly what I was going to point out. Yeah,
do you think she tried to play the Chrissy card? I was Chrissy in Jaws. God damn it! Do you know who I am?
She's like, whatever you say, crack whore. Get in the back of the head. You're going to jail.
So those are my big flaws that I found with the movie overall. But overall, even with those flaws, it was a fucking amazing film.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, and that's really my closing point is that in spite of all the glaring flaws and everything like that, this movie is absolutely integral to our history and integral to pop culture. And it is an absolute C for anybody who loves film and really just loves anything about movies in general. It's a classic.
Yes, it is.
100%.
I think we all agree on that.
100%. Mandatory viewing.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to our podcast, Barrel Age Flicks. We are so excited for the upcoming episodes headed your way and bonus episodes of The Small Batch, Sammy Selects, and now the new Tasting Room. If you like our show, please spread the word, give us a like, or leave us some kind of review on any of the social media pages. Give us a follow on Instagram, Barrel Flicks, or Facebook, Barrel Age Flicks. Our podcast is available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Radio Public, Audible, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, YouTube, and now Pandora. Please shoot us an email at barrelageflicks@gmail.com with comments and movie suggestions for future shows or any other things you'd like to let us know. Credit to Carl Casey at White Bat Audio on YouTube. Man, your music is awesome. We thank you so much for that. It's great. You guys go ahead and check him out. I just want to say thank you so much. We hope to see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening. See you then.